Welcome to the Forest Forum as we're going to look ahead to Forest versus Ipswich with these lots. Good morning, good evening, or good night. I hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to the Forest Forum, where it's going to be slightly different tonight. There won't be any monologues on particular subjects because I think we've probably milked them. We've milked them all out by now. There's not much more you can talk about, really, but we'll find something. So tonight is going to be a look ahead to the Ipswich match with the boys. Remember, this isn't Gore style, so there won't be interruptions, and this will be our professional stream.
And why does it feel like we've been called in off the bench, like we're the reserves?
Yeah.
We're not first teamers on the forum.
All his real friends have let him down, so he's come back to us.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to get Carlos on, and I forgot to message him. So yeah, you two will have to do. You two have to do. Shout out to Carlos. Before we get started, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well. Make sure you check out the new Football Prizes prize, which is a double-signed, framed Hudson-Odoi and Alanga. It's pretty tasty, even though right now I only like one of those players. You can type in !prize in the chat. And don't forget, we're bigging up the Salvation's Army's Children's Christmas charity. That if you would like to help donate some presents to the kids, the link's pinned in the. Gone. Here we go.
Or you can donate money through the link that's pinned in the chat. You could donate a little bit of money to help the children have a nice Christmas. All children deserve to have a nice Christmas.
And we've had some donations already, haven't we? So yeah, please keep giving.
So the link's there for the Just Giving. If there's anything you can do to help him out, shout him out. Oh my God, man. Matt won the latest squad shirt. Are you serious, Matt? The one with the LEDs and everything? That was a good one as well. Well, congratulations, Matt. I'm really happy for you, mate. I'm really happy for you.
Happy for you, bud.
Yeah.
Gritted teeth.
Wait, who got the Alanga one? There was an Alanga. Oh, no, I know who got it. They sent me the picture. They've won 2 now. Just the luck is ridiculous. Dylan with the 22 months, thank you so much, buddy. Coming up to the 2-year anniversary. Evening, gents. Hope all is well. I'm a little tired, mate. I'm not gonna lie. We've done a lot of Ipswich previews, so for the members right now, you can go and watch one with the legend. That's Benjamin Bloom. That's out for you. That'll be out for everyone tomorrow morning, I think. And over on Patreon, we've got another exclusive preview for you guys with Talking Town as well. So loads of content to keep you guys busy, and the lovely Jess who's coming over to the Ipswich match this weekend, and hopefully we'll be meeting her hero if we get it organized from our end. In Chris, thank you so much for the £5.
Yeah, that's not me, by the way. I'm not a hero. It's Chris.
She says, "Evening, gents. I think this show would be better if it was called The Warm Up."
I think that's a great suggestion.
All right, Jess.
I think that's a great suggestion, Jess. I think I second that.
Yeah, convenient. Thanks, Jess. I'm going to refund that. Thank you. Matt, it's his birthday tomorrow. He goes, oh, many happy returns, Matt.
Really?
24 years old. Yeah.
It's mine 2 days later, bud, but happy birthday, mate.
Good to see you, Marky Boy in the chat, our very own Catfish. Matt's over on Twitch, what's it called? X. Okay, get your likes up. Let's start jumping into this. Let's start. We got to start with Rob's, mate. Sebastian, thank you so much for the £5, man. He says, I bumped into Rob at Nottingham Castle. He was dressed as Robin Hood and reading a book about 80s TV show Knight Rider. Man, that's one of the greatest TV shows of all time. My dad had a Trans Am, and it was before I was even born, and I would have loved
Trans Am. God blimey, showing your age here, my son.
Yeah, but
my dad had the Trans Am, right? So I had to watch reruns of Knight Rider.
On the streets for about 30 years.
Did it have the LED panel on the front?
You know what? I did that on my Nissan. That's a memory. I got pulled over by the policeman. That's a Zorro stream. I'll save that. Remind me on that one for the next members stream. He looks happy. Well, Sebastian, it's very rare for Rob to look happy, but thank you so much for the £5, matey. Okay, now they're all talking about Knight Rider in the chat, right? This is our serious stream, right? No Knight Rider stuff. God, you lot. It's a sick show. Okay, let's kick this one off. So, Forest, back-to-back L's, ladies and gents. Ipswich coming into town. Benjamin's feeling semi-confident, I gotta say. And Martin as well, from the Ipswich guys that I've spoken to. Ez, how are you feeling looking ahead to this game?
I said it last week and you guys are kind of like laughed at me, but of the promoted, well, that was normal, but other promoted teams, they're the one that I'm kind of like a little bit worried about at home, because I think it's one of those games where it's not going to be, may not be quality that holds out on the day, it might just be who has the most heart and who has the most drive on the game. But this, if we're going into this game in our first season, I wouldn't see us winning, despite it being a home game. But we can obviously beat these teams, and we shouldn't be worrying about them at all. But I just have a little worry in the back of my mind that if we get anything less than, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 performances on Saturday, we will get turned over. So that's my little worry, and I don't want to be negative about it. But they have got more. They're more than plucky. They actually have got some quality in there. They've got some players that I would actually love to have us take a look at, whether it's in January or at the end of the season. But so it's a quality along with the pluckiness. But they are a potential banana skin for me, mate. So I'm not really looking forward to this game. One part of me is expecting loads of goals. The other part of me is expecting, if it's a cagey game and we haven't scored in that first half, and it could be a difficult second half. So yeah, I'll see how the lineup is going into it. But we need key players back, that's for sure. We've missed our midfield, and how it lines up on Saturday is going to be key to how we perform in that game, for sure.
Well, the talk is from Nuno that both Morgan Gibbs-White, Elanga, and Anderson are late checks.
Yeah,
are late checks, which makes me think they're fit.
But I don't believe anything Nuno says.
Yeah, what are you saying, Anna? You're as negative as.
Well, first, no, not
What's that, Anna? Have you been chilling with Pep recently?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I meant to say that. Yeah, I was having a little bit of a noddler earlier on, and for some reason, I just scratched my nose like that. Yeah, no, as soon as I did it, I thought Pep. I've gone all Pep.
I just noticed it now. I was like, "Oh, hello, Pep."
Yeah, no, I'm not as nervous as Pep. That is for sure. There again, we've got a better team, haven't we, at the moment? No, well, first of all, Wolfie, I love you, man. You're my brother and everything, but fuck me, you do come out with some tripe, honestly. Talk about the most exaggerated, hyperbolic view you could possibly have. I watched a video with you the other day saying that this, despite what Ant says, is a must-win game. Come on. We're in November. We're 7th in the league. It's not a must-win game in any way, shape, or form. Right? However, having said that, why are we scared of Ipswich? Well, we're scared of Ipswich because of the last 2 games. But Ipswich aren't Newcastle, and they certainly aren't Arsenal at the Emirates, right? So we're not facing the same standard. Also, we did have players out in those 2 games, vital players out. So I think that providing we have the majority of our decent players back, there's nothing for us to fear. Ipswich play into our hands. They like to come out. They like to attack. It shouldn't be a problem. Should not be a problem. Don't get me wrong. They've had some good results. I mean, it's a long time since we beat Tottenham at their ground. Well, Ipswich did it. So you can never be complacent, but we shouldn't be scared of Ipswich Town. They're 3rd from bottom, aren't they? Something like that.
Yeah, but even though it's not a must win, and you wouldn't accept anything less than a win, would you, on Saturday?
Oh, it's not a must win. It would be a bloody disappointment if we don't. But it's not a must win as in, it's all over if we don't win.
No, but we've had this chat. I don't think that's what must win means.
Yeah, I know we have several times. It just made me laugh. Well, listen, he brought my name into it. I have a right to reply. So, yeah, we shouldn't be scared of Ipswich. I'm not underestimating them. I know that they could come here and win. Any team can come here and win, right? That's fact. That's football. But I don't think we should be scared. I think we should be favourites by some way. And if we play the way we've been playing up until the last couple of games, which, as I say, we were against elite teams and we had players missing, then we should win. So no, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. No. I'm looking for, unlike Ez, I am looking forward to the game.
Well, tonight I can't argue back as I am the host who can boast the most roast. So I will let the chat argue back with Ant. There is a poll there. Is this a must-win game or not? Get your votes in. Rob, is it a must-win game?
Well, if we want to finish in the top 8 or 9 and get into Europe and all the things that we've been talking about, then it absolutely is a must-win. So we have to be ruthless about this. And we were ruthless against Crystal Palace, who made a good fist of it but couldn't finish. We were ruthless against Leicester, and we were ruthless against West Ham when they had a man sent off. So we have to be ruthless in this game. This is our chance to get things back on track. Yeah, I'm in the top right now, Laurie. I've been promoted. But anyway, so look, it's important to get the balance right, okay? So I agree with Ant that, like, you know, this is not an Arsenal at Highbury, whatever they call it, Emirates these days. And it's not a Newcastle either. But at the same time, we shouldn't just think we can turn up, put the usual people in the usual positions, do our regular shit, and somehow win by default. Because that is not going to happen. That's what they thought against Arsenal, and it just didn't work, right? Changes are required for this game. And let's look back to that game against Crystal Palace, right? That was a bloody hard slog to win that 1-0, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to be the same. But we should be, you know, if we win this 1-0, job done, right? It could literally be 1-0 with a Chris Wood goal. Yeah? But you've got to also remember about that Palace game, they didn't really have a shot on target. The whole team was working, you're going to like this, Anne, the whole team was working 110% throughout that game. So that's what the goal has got to be.
Should have been working 120%.
It's not goal. It's not goal.
We need to get the balance right between not thinking we can just turn up and win by default, but at the same time, we shouldn't start thinking just because we've lost our last 2 games and just because Ipswich have won their last 2 games, we shouldn't start obsessing over their strengths and the threats, thinking, oh, you know, they're going to hurt us. It's like, no, if we pick the right team and everybody does their job and that everybody works like they did for those 3 wins that we had, we should be winning this 1 or 2-0. And we should be aiming to keep a clean sheet, and they should not be having any shots on target. Because we accomplished that in that run of games we had before.
Just to correct you, they won 1 out of their last 3, but they're undefeated in 3. Just you mentioned 2 wins there.
I'm thinking of Wolves, aren't I? I'm thinking of Wolves.
Yeah,
sorry, my bad. But yes, they have turned it around anyway. They've turned it around recently.
And we'll show a quick shout out to our American mates, likes of Pat and everyone. It's Thanksgiving, I think, in America today, is it not? If I'm not mistaken. Yep. We had a good Thanksgiving meal and everything's well for our American forest brethren out there. Huh?
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
I'm getting to the American side of it, so our American viewers feel at home. Yeehaw.
Okay.
Yeah, aren't they celebrating winning a war against us? I can't join in with that, I'm afraid.
No, that's not it.
That's Independence Day. That's Independence Day, you know.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
No, it's against the Native Americans, mate. I think.
No, it's not against the aliens. Oh, it's Will Smith.
Will Smith gonna come down, man.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Anyway. Let's get into what you boys are thinking team-wise here, because I think there needs to be a lot of changes. And by the way, the chat has spoken, and I've always known they were educated, because in the poll that says, is this a must-win game, 55% have said yes and told Ant to do one, and 45% said no. And
you mean we've got 55% of wind-up merchants? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, we've got 55% of the chat is very educated right now.
Well, are they educated enough to hit the like button? Because only like 45 of them have done that so far. So
what's going on? What's going on? Get those likes up. Get those likes
I'm not hitting it. After that poll result, you can bugger off.
Quick catch up on the super chats. Jess with another £5. She says, just think about the same fixture on the same day 7 years ago, same results. You were at that match, weren't you, S?
Was I?
Yeah. Were you at the Ipswich one? 3-0.
Well, I was.
All right, you were.
Yeah, I can't remember it. I can't remember it, but I must have been there.
You don't remember? Last day of the season. What is that the way you're talking about? Was that 7 years ago? 2017, wasn't it?
No, just come and elaborate, because I'm not. That's not rang a bell. That
3-0.
So you need Britta Sombolonga for this game, then, don't you? Britta
And
Sombalonga and Chris Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
I
know
Andy
what you
Smith in goal, mate.
Yes,
The one.
yes. The game that kept us
Smith's
up,
greatest
basically,
game.
yeah.
Actually, I thought he was good when we played. I don't want to say the Y word, but he kept us alive in that game.
By the
Anyway.
way, can I say a special thanks for Jess, because she made a very generous donation to the Children's Fund. So thanks, Jess.
Shout out to Jess. And shout out for the £5.
She's
So it's actually a good point, because like I was saying on my preview yesterday, Ipswich aren't a team I hate, which means that they haven't beaten us in a situation that's made me cry. We've had the 3-0 where we survived. There's obviously the famous one with Lewis McGugan's free kick. We've also had do you remember the late comeback with a penalty? It was that name that we shall not say anymore after what he did against us at Sheffield United last season in Brereton Diaz.
Well, I remember.
One game I do remember very clearly. He's beaten them 5-0 at Wembley for the Charity Shield.
What year are you talking now?
Was that would have been after we won the league, wouldn't it?
78, yeah.
It could have been when we had won an FA Cup, mate.
No, that was a long time ago, bro.
Come on, that's not
saying. With Anne, it could go really far back.
With Anne,
now. Even I wasn't born then.
Yeah, right.
God, it's not very often I get to say that on here, is it?
Forrest Rye, the legend, who just watches everything and supports us everywhere. Thank you for being a member, buddy. He's upgraded to the gold membership like a true legend. Thank you so much. But yeah, so let's kick off with these teams, right? I want to start with Ant's team, because it's always funny when Ant talks, and we'll see if he's even got 11 on the pitch. let's bring this up, and guys, let us know what you think on Ant's team.
Nobody's going to disagree with this. Nobody.
He's gone for a 4-2-3-1, the usual back 5/4. In midfield, he's gone with Dominguez, he's gone with Anderson and Gibbs White, with Sosa on the right, Hudson-Odoi on the left, and Cristiano Woodinho up front. So 4-2-3-1. What's you thinking here, Anne? And chat, do you like Ant's team?
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you put a team up, and then when it comes up, you start thinking, oh, maybe I could have. No,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm happy with this team. I think most people will. Most people, yeah. Look, it's one of the best back fives in the league, and I'm doing what's his name? What's the Chelsea bloke's name when he said back five? So I'm including the goalie in that. Yeah, that midfield it's got everything. It's got passion, it's got power, it's got pace, it's got ability, it's got technique, it's got everything you need to succeed in Premier League football.
Got injuries.
Yeah, I was going to just say it's got injuries as well.
Now, this is obviously on the assumption that all are fit, and we have not been told that they're not fit. Okay, so on that, I have to make the assumption they are fit.
Yeah.
Hudson-Odoi on the left, obviously Chris Wood up front. And I think most people probably think that Sosa deserves a chance to show us what he can do. And obviously, if he doesn't do very well, then we've got Elanga to bring on. Even if he does do quite well, Elanga on for the last 20 minutes, I think we'd all agree, is quite a potent weapon, especially as their left back is a marauding left back who's going to leave loads of space at the back for Elanga to run into when he comes on and after 70 minutes. So it's like a Swedish name, isn't it? Grief Lawson or something like that. Go on, tell me. How close was I? Grief Lawson. Stop laughing. Does anybody know?
No, I don't have to pronounce it. No.
Well, there you go then. But you know what I mean. Now people seem to be scared of this Delap guy. Looks a good player. We've got Murillo and Milenkovic, mate. What are we worrying about? Why are we worrying about somebody? Anybody. We've got them two guys there. Omari Hutchison, he is a good player. He does worry me, but you just have to snuff him out, don't you? You just have to snuff him out. And that's it. What more do you want me to say? Sells has to stay in goal. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever to drop Sells. No reason whatsoever. You know, people might say, bring the other guy in, Carlos Miguel, and give him a chance, give him a go. No, we're in the Premier League. You don't give players, I've said this before, you don't give players a go, see how they get on. And I said that about Jota, leave me alone. That's different because it suits my agenda. So that's it. That's my team anyway. And I think most people will be quite happy with that team. I don't think many people.
What are you saying to this team? As well, you're liking what you're not liking.
I mean,
let's see if the chat like it or not.
As Ant says, and as everybody else probably agrees, a back five picks itself. So there's no debate there. But if I went back to last week, in hindsight, I probably would have played Nico instead of Moreno. I think he would have done a better job, but that's gone anyway. But
against Saka, sorry.
Well, I mean, I just think he's been strong, and I think it was weak. Anyway, that's gone. Last week is gone. Moving forward, back five picks itself. There's not many differences to what I've picked, but one that I would question really is why he'd go for Sosa over Jota, which seems to be the player that everybody else.
No, that should be Jota. Sorry, I just noticed that should be Jota.
Well, that's what I wondered.
Did I put Sosa in there? Sorry.
Yeah, you gave me Sosa.
And you ran
Jota.
That's lyrical about how great Sosa was and how much of a threat he was, but you meant Jota the whole time.
Can you just
two of the letters are the same. Two of the letters are the same. Just like get some Tipex on it.
Yeah. So Jota over Sosa, and for the type of game, I think it's a very championship type game tomorrow. On Saturday. And it suits Ryan Yates. For me, it suits Ryan Yates at that type of game. So that's the only other two changes I would do to what Ant's gone with. And I don't know how much different Rob's is, but yeah, for me, they're the only two changes. And obviously, like Ant just said, he meant Jota over Sosa. So mainly, the only change would be for me is I'd go with Yates over Dominguez. But I'd certainly, if they're fit and available, and Nuno's not the type to mention players if they're not going to be available. So he wouldn't even have said they're having late fitness tests if Anderson and Gibbs-White aren't a real possibility. So I think he could start on both, and I probably would start on both if they're both fit and available. But yeah, there's not much different to what I'd go with, to be honest. I think you've got to hope that we've got players coming back to fitness, because we have missed these players. There's no doubt about it.
This is comment of the night from you from James. And is making a substitute before the game. And do you know what? I know what he's doing. He's looking at his phone.
I think when I was describing it, I think I did say Jota. So I just noticed that when Ez said it was Sosa, but I said Jota when I was describing the team.
Let me ask you this, Anne. Did you just pick up your phone to check the team that you sent me to see if I was wrong?
I am literally checking it because I can't believe I've made such a
right, so did I.
Do you know what? I haven't made a mistake because I was fuming when he did it, because Sosa's never been on the right-hand side, so I had to create him from scratch.
Yeah. Well, if you'd have come back to you and said to me, Sosa, you sure? I'd have then said, no, Jota.
Wait, Mark, is that true? What happened to Scammer him? They're losing 2-1. Please tell me you're not lying. Please tell me you're not lying. Rob, what are you saying to Ant's team?
Well, okay. Obviously, he meant Jota instead of Sosa, so that leave that point.
I can show you the proof. He didn't.
I'm a little bit concerned with Gibbs, White, and Anderson both coming back from injuries, expecting them to start, and one or more of them play the full 90. I think it's asking a bit much. So in my team, you'll see that I've only picked one, and the idea is that you tag one in and one out.
We'll cover that. We'll cover your.
I feel like underpinning this is a something of a Yates agenda, which I don't.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. If Anderson's out, I'll put Yates in. But Anderson is a better player than Ryan Yates.
Yeah, but is an 85% fit Anderson a better player than Ryan Yates?
Well, we don't know though, Rob. Do we? Let's be absolute. We don't know. Given a percentage on a player's fitness is just a guess, isn't it? We don't know how fit he is. I always think if a player starts, he's fit. He should be fit. So if Anderson is 85%, I wouldn't play him because I wouldn't want to risk him getting further injury.
See, for me,
it was Zink that scored. Remember him?
Was it Zinknagel?
Yeah.
Legends. Sorry.
Right, I was just going to say, for me, if they're fully fit, it's somebody plus Anderson. So it's either Yates or Dominguez, or Sangare or Dominguez. Sangare plus Anderson, sorry. So it's somebody plus Anderson. So for me, Ant's gone with Dominguez. I would have gone with Yatesy for this particular game. But there's other games where I'd prefer...
Well, no, we'll talk about yours, won't get.
Yeah, but there's other games where I'd prefer Dominguez. But like I kind of alluded to, I think it's more of a championship-style game on Saturday. And I think it just suits Yatesy a lot more for that type of game. That's why I'd go with Yates over Dominguez.
I mean, obviously, you know my feelings about Dominguez over Yates. I just think Dominguez is better in every single aspect of the game. Every aspect. Closing down, tackling, passing, running. I just think he's better in every aspect. That's not to diss Yates, because I think Dominguez is a fantastic player. He's a fantastic player. And when you know yourself, when you're down there, you see, which you don't always see on television, you see how much.
You see his work rate, without a doubt. But you also see Yates, he's got a physical presence about him, and I think that's more.
Yeah, I think he keeps pushing people over still. He's got
he does have it. But he does have his good points.
Yeah,
but that's
he does. I'm not slagging Yates off. I just think that Dominguez is better.
Well, 79% agree with your team, man. It was 84, and then you told them Sosa was Jota, and it dropped down to 79. So maybe they liked it with Jota there, which is interesting. By the way, Zinc absolutely did Malacia for pace, man.
Did he?
And just nutmegged Nana. Okay, so that's Anne's team. Let's move on to Rob's team and see what he's gone with here. So Rob's gone for the same formation, I believe, in a 4-2-3-1. Gone with Carlos Miguel in goal. And then he's gone for the usual suspects as the back four. And then into midfield, he's gone for Dominguez and Yates, with Morgan Gibbs-White in the 10, Jota on the right, Sosa on the left, Cristiano Wadinho up front. Rob, talk us through your logic here, and let's ask the chat what they think about it.
All right, so compared to the last game, I've kept the back six, but I've changed the goalkeeper and the attack. It's all different in the attack.
You said back five. He's got back six. What's going on there?
Well, no, by that I mean Dominguez, Yates screening the usual back four, right? So that is the same, but the whole four attack has changed, and the reason for that is we registered 0 shots against Arsenal. We couldn't retain the ball. Yeah, it was Arsenal. Yeah, we could probably get away with it at home against Ipswich, but the reason I've made this selection is as follows, right? You often hear Nuno saying, it's very important that we take one game at a time. We shouldn't be thinking about the one after this and the one after that. I disagree, right? Occasionally, you need to think in terms of what is ahead. And we are 1 month away from the January transfer window, right? And there are certain things that we need to learn about our squad over the next 4 or 5 games that we don't yet know, right? Now, let me just talk about a goalkeeper first, right? We had a discussion at the start of the season. Is Sells a Premier League goalkeeper? Is he a starter? Yeah? So I think we've answered both of those questions. Yes, he's a Premier League goalkeeper, and yes, he's a starter. But the next question is he a top 8 goalkeeper in the Premier League? Possibly not, right? So if that's the question, is Carlos Miguel a top 8 goalkeeper in the Premier League? We don't know yet. And therefore, we need to decide whether we're going to be going in for a goalkeeper in January and potentially breaking the bank, or making someone a very big money offer to bring in a goalkeeper. But unless we know what Miguel is made of, I mean, wouldn't it be great if we played Miguel for the next 4 games? He kept 4 clean sheets and he won Player of the Month, right? In which case, you don't need to go in for a goalkeeper because Sells is the number 2. But, if Miguel has a terrible run and we end up putting Sells in, we then know that we've got to go for a goalkeeper in January, as much as we already know we've got to go for a striker. So I think that you have to, if you don't look at these strategic questions, then you don't address the weaknesses in your squad. And the same applies to what I've done with the wingers, right? So with the wingers, I think we're probably all in agreement that Elanga is not producing. It's been a while since he's produced his best form, right? It is time for Jota to start, right? And but I see those wingers as a group of 4, where Hudson-Odoi and Elanga were the 1 and 2, and then Jota and Sosa were the 3 and 4. I think that given what we've seen over the last couple of games, these 2 need to be given a start, right? Because what did I say about the Arsenal game? I thought it was a lazy performance. It was a lazy team selection and lazy players, right? Those 2 have got hunger. They are going to come into this game and they are going to run around like madmen, tracking back, winning the ball and getting it forward quickly. quickly and getting the cross in quickly. So that's how I want to approach this game. I want to get the cross in quickly onto Chris Wood's head, and I want to win 3-0. And, you know, just because you start with Jota and Sousa doesn't mean you have to finish the game with them. You still got Alanga and Hudson-Odoi on the bench. And in terms of the last point, the midfield, I don't want to gamble on starting both Gibbs-White and Anderson if they're not both fully fit. So on the basis that they're both a little bit subpar, I would start with Gibbs-White and then bring on Anderson as a sub. Or if Gibbs-White is just straight unavailable, start with Anderson in his spot. As far as I'm concerned, Dominguez and Yates have been decent even over the last 2 games that we lost. It wasn't because of them. It was because the rest of the midfield wasn't doing its job. I think both Dominguez and Yates...
one player, mate.
I think Dominguez and Yates are both on good form at the moment, and I would not mess around with those. You need some stability. So I've kept the 6 the same. Those the back 4 and the 2 defensive midfielders. I've changed the attack and I've changed the goalkeeper. I was going to say bring Miguel in for the Manchester games, you know, throw the dice. But actually I've thought, no, that is stupid. You know, give him a chance in a home game. We're expected to win. It may well be. He doesn't even have to face a shot on target. But, you know, if Miguel comes in and he keeps a clean sheet, everybody's happy, everybody's confident, then you can take him away to Man United, where he could be a match winner.
And what are you saying to this team? I'm seeing your head.
My God.
Go on.
God, I've never heard such a pile of shit for a long time. Oh, my God.
Have you not watched the forum
This
before?
is not grumpy old Reds.
I mean, you said earlier on, you said something ridiculous that was this is a must-win game. And then in the next breath, you're saying, oh, let's just chuck a load of untried people in and see how it goes.
It's not untried at this stage.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Go on, man.
There's no reason on this planet. I mean, and your logic for playing Miguel is ridiculous. If Miguel plays tomorrow and screws up, you're saying, oh, it doesn't matter because at least we've tried him. It does matter. It's 3 bloody points lost. It
when
does
are you
matter.
Find out how good he is,
mate. That's football. That's how it works. Why don't we put De Silva on it right back? Give him a go. He might be brilliant. He might be the next Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's a straw man. I haven't done that.
You're talking crazy. You're talking crazy. Miguel's played 1 game in the League Cup, and you want to put him into the Premier League in a game that we must win.
Why did we sign him then?
As a backup, mate. As a backup.
Yeah.
Right, so your regular goalkeepers just let 6 goals in, maybe 3 or 4 of which were arguably he could have done better. So
no. You're being grossly unfair there, saying 3 or 4 of them are his fault. Come on, let's be real.
Where's Wolfie gone? Just when I need him.
I'm not going to debate the goalkeeper situation with you for too long because it's just ridiculous. It's not even worth the debate, if I'm honest. Sells is our number 1 goalkeeper. He will remain our number 1 goalkeeper till the end of this season. We will not be buying a goalkeeper in January. You know why? Because we don't need one. That's why.
Clip this.
We don't need one. Right.
I think if Miguel
let's move on. We're playing against Ipswich Town, and you want to play 2 defensive midfielders.
Yeah, we did against Palace. We did against Leicester.
That's absolute insanity, mate. That's absolute insanity. 2 defensive midfielders against Ipswich Town. Right.
So you want to get Anderson and Gibbs-White injured before we play Man City?
No, you're being very disingenuous there, Rob. I said assuming he's fully fit. No, I said assuming he's fully fit. I said assuming he's fully fit, which if he plays, that will be my assumption, right? If he's not fully fit, then by all means bring Yates in for him. I don't care. But if he's fully fit, he is the better player. Okay? He's the better football player. And then you've got Sosa on the left. Why have you got Sosa on the left? It's proven nothing. No, when he's come on, I've liked him. I'm not dissing the guy. When he's come on for his little 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, I've liked him. He's ran about a lot. He looks like he's got some talent. I'm excited to see how he develops. But that's the key word. Let him develop. At the moment, he's not a fully fledged Premier League player. I promise you. I promise you.
How does he get to be a fully fledged Premier League player?
Because you bring him on and you develop him. You don't chuck him in from the beginning, halfway through, third of the way through a season. You develop him. You bring him on here. You bring him on there. You see how he goes. If he comes on for 15 minutes and he's not very good, You rest him a little bit longer. If he plays well, then the next game you might give him 25 minutes, but you don't chuck him in from minute 1 in a Premier League game. You say we shouldn't underestimate these teams. I think you're vastly underrated. Ipswich Town, vastly underrated.
Go on, Rob.
Go on, Rob.
So that's my critique of your.
All right, that wasn't just a critique. That was a shredding. That was a shredding of the team. Go on, Rob. And by the way, Rob, just to let you know, 66% of the chat like your team. So. Yeah. Go on, right over reply now. Bring
not
in.
Just critique my team, is critiqued my entire character as a human being. Right. Okay. Quiz question, Ant, and you've got to answer immediately without looking it up. Who is older, Ramon Sousa or Callum Hudson-Odoi?
I would say Sousa.
Right, but you're talking about him like he's a 16-year-old. Right,
I think that Callum Hudson-Odoi has developed far more than Sousa has. He's played in far higher competition than Sousa has.
Look, Ant, do you remember? I know this was a very long time ago, but do you remember when you were trying to get your first job and you couldn't get one because you didn't have job experience? Right?
No.
How do we know?
I went to chemical training college and then I went to university and then I got my job.
How do we?
And I had that job for 18 years.
All right. Let's keep it on Gore. Go on, Rob. You keep asking him questions though. So your right of reply needs to be your statement.
How do we know? Right. And by the way, I know that Sousa is right foot dominant, but he was bought as a left winger, right? And anyway, am I correct on that? Right. So now my criticism of Hudson-Odoi, and Hudson-Odoi has scored 2 goals this season, good goals, but I am concerned, especially if you look at the heat maps, he doesn't track back enough, and even if he does, he doesn't tackle. Right, and we got done a lot down our left-hand side last game.
Hold on,
Ipswich to Arsenal at the Emirates. But the whole sorry, you're right.
Grumpy old Ant. So I want to see that this is by the way, you've made out that I'm treating this like a League Cup game, right? My team is basically 2 different to yours, right? It's the goalkeeper and Sousa is the difference. So come on, you're over egging that.
No, you've got Yates in there as well.
Yeah.
3
differences.
Well, 3. That's nearly a third of the outfield players. So it's quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Yates is the status quo. Yates has played all those games, so I'm leaving that the same. You could say that
Yates isn't in Ant's team, Rob.
No, he means difference from Ant's team.
Yeah. All right, but you're
saying the difference to the actual team we played. So you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go on. Sorry. We all interpret it to answer.
No.
Right. Look, this is the usual team, but with different wingers and a different goalkeeper. Can I put it like that? Right. So the element of gambling is reduced. Right.
But Rob, sorry, Rob. Sorry, let me just correct you there, because you say this is the usual team. It's the team we've had to play because of injuries. It's not what we would desire.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's put Danilo in, shall we? Right. Look, this is the regular team that we have been playing, just with 2 different wingers starting. Remember, you've still got the usual ones on the bench, right? And also, by the way, Elanga and Hudson-Odoi have not started every game either, have they? Right. So
no, the ones we've lost have not started. You're right.
Liverpool, they didn't start and we won.
Yeah, Fulham, they didn't start and we lost. Come on, we could play this game all day. Let's stick to it.
All right, okay. Get to the point, Rob, and I want to bring Ez in.
All right. Well, if you think that you're going to play every game as it comes, that's fine, but you never actually find out how good your squad is, right? We've talked a lot of time about the depth in our squad and how that is what's made the difference between this season and previous seasons, right? We haven't got like Origi and Reina coming on and people like that. So let's make use of these players. They're not just substitutes. We can actually rotate, right? And that's all I want to do. And I think that a home game against Ipswich, where the previous guys are starting to get a bit tired and lose focus a bit, bring in some people that are hungry and give them a start. If 2 out of those 3 changes that I've made fire on all cylinders, and by the way, I'm going to make a prediction. If Miguel gets in goal, he will stay in goal to the end of the season, and Sells will not come back, because I think I'm that optimistic about him.
You've never seen him play once. You've seen him play in one game.
Tell that to Nikki, and tell that to Nikki. All right, Ez, I'm dying to know your thoughts on this team.
Thing. That's nothing to do with football.
God, that's what you saying on this one.
Well, I've been patiently waiting, but Ant said a bit of what I was objecting to anyway. And it seems to me a little bit like you're underestimating Ipswich, which I said would be the danger. If we go anything below what we should be performing as, we will get caught out on Saturday. I wouldn't be looking at changing both wingers. One of them, yes, and we know who the one is. Alanga is the one that needs to be dropped. Majority of the fan base agree with that, and Jota is the one they will be bringing in. It's the question that Nuno seems to be getting asked more regularly during his press conferences about Jota, and obviously there has been some talk from both parties. Jota's said great things about Nuno, and likewise, it's gone both ways. So there is an inkling that might be something that we'll see soon. But the Miguel situation now. A part of me, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, says, okay, if you're going to bring him in, yes, before Christmas, before January, we've actually got 7 games in this month coming up. Well, not including, obviously, Ipswich falls in the last day of November, but there's 6 games in December. So it's not a small period of time. It's a decent enough period of time to be able to see how good he is. But I agree with Ant. This is not the time or the place to be bringing in your goalkeeper. You have a backup keeper in the necessity that he's needed, not to change it on a whim, and that's what I feel like this would be. We've gone from praising Sells, and I said about this flip-flopping in the fan base. We've gone from praising him to saying that he needs to be dropped to bring in a goalkeeper who hasn't played a Premier League game in his career. So I'm not with you on that one. I do understand that there is enough games to give him that chance, but I don't see that that's going to be beneficial to us going forward long term anyway. But dropping both wingers, no, not for me. I would be certainly looking to drop Alanga and bring Jota in, but not both of them for me. The fact of the matter is, you said so, but your point is that, you know, we've looked strong as a squad, but we've looked strong coming off the bench. Those same players, I don't think, when they have been given a chance, have looked as good when they're starting, or have been given longer time. So I don't know. I don't think either of them are ready. I don't think they're both ready to start. I think one of them is, and that's Jota. And I think Sosa's still a way off being a starter right now. And I think it's just too much of a taking the Ipswich game lightly by looking at that setup there, mate. So I wouldn't go with that. And I agree with Van as well. 2 defensive midfielders is not how I'd go and look into that game. Certainly not.
Right. Are you happy with Hudson-Odoi and how he's playing at the moment and the overall contribution he's making?
No, overall, a lot of players have been below par, and he's one of them. So I'm not just expecting him to step up. I'm expecting a whole lot of other players.
So all I'm saying is give Sosa a start. You can bring Hudson-Odoi on as a sub. My thought about this is that Ipswich, I've watched the videos of Hudson-Odoi. They are expecting him to start. They know exactly what he's going to do. And like everybody else, they're going to set up to double up on him and nullify him. And imagine if an hour before the game, the team sheet's announced and it's Sosa, you've already got a mental edge on them because they're thinking, oh, damn, we planned our whole team around stopping Hudson-Odoi. Oh, that's taken us a little bit by surprise. Yeah. So I just feel like he doesn't track back enough. He's too predictable. He goes missing for long periods. Look,
do you think Saturday's going to be a game? Sorry to interrupt, Rob, but do you think Saturday's going to be a game where he's going to need to do a lot of tracking back? Or are we going to be using him as a threat? Because if he takes 2 or 3 players out,
right. Well, if he goes into that game,
you've got MG Dub and Anderson, you know, to take up that slack. You know, that's where he's useful. You know, where he is taking 2 or 3 players out of the game, but you've got the quality now. We haven't had MG Dub or Anderson in the last few games. That's a major part of our creativity that we've been missing. Now he can take a couple of players out of the game if he uses his street smarts and then uses the overlaps with Moreno, because I think Callum Hudson-Odoi's relationship with Moreno is a lot better than Alanga's with Aina, for example. And I think they do work really well together because Moreno is a very smart attacker and he will look for the spaces. The underlapping that me and Ant were looking at in the last home game, where he was finding tons and tons of space because Hudson-Odoi was occupying 2 or 3 of their players. So there is that form of attack that we can do when he's on the pitch. Sosa's not going to track 2 or 3 players, so I don't know. I'm going with starting with Hudson-Odoi in this one.
Also, Rob, I really like the idea of if Hudson-Odoi isn't performing well, we've got a fresh Sosa to bring on after 70 minutes or whatever. I do like that idea. I've said many times on these pods. I've said many times it is now a squad game, not a team game. So you have to look at how you're going to play for the whole 90 minutes, and that for me is powerful. As I say, I'd like to bring Elanga on after 70 minutes, if necessary. And the same with Sosa after 70 minutes, if necessary. If not, okay. But if they are, we've got those players in reserve. But and Hudson-Odoi is far more experienced, Rob. He's far more experienced. He knows what he's doing. He's a good player. Come on.
But as strong as our squad is, have we got a strong of... have we got a squad of 24, 25 starters? Because I don't think we have. I think we've got maybe 10, 15 starters. No club has. Right. Exactly.
No club has.
So you can say we've got a strong squad, but they're not all starters, are they? So they are key players their role will be to come off the bench and make an impact. And that's what I still see Sosa as, and Jota has been to an extent. But I think Jota has shown a lot more and shown a lot more willing to be able to get into that starting lineup and make a difference. I just don't think Sosa's quite there yet. Not saying he won't be, and I'm not saying he won't be by the end of the season. I just think if you take this game too lightly, then we are in danger of slipping up. And
all right, let's move this forward for the sake of time. I have to say, though, I kind of agree with Rob's team. I think Sosa, I think Hudson-Odoi and Elanga need to be dropped. Not permanently. Well, Elanga permanently, but Hudson-Odoi needs a Morgan Gibbs-White drop like he got last season, just to wake him up a little. The only one I'd change on Rob's team, I'd change Yates for Anderson, because that's pretty much the team I put in my preview. But that's what I'd say there. So you can shake your head, Rob, but Anderson's a better player than Yates.
They're both 100% fit. That's fine. If I'm assuming that they're not.
But you wouldn't change it if he was 100% fit, would you?
Right. If you're telling me that somehow both of them have had a miraculous recovery, and
there's nothing miraculous about it. They've been training for ages.
They haven't broken their legs.
Nothing miraculous. We didn't even know they had
Anderson and Gibbs-White are 100% fit. To be honest, I would be slightly more likely to drop Dominguez to put Anderson in and not Yates. So
okay.
Okay.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
So you leave it there, shall we?
67% agree, like Rob's team, 33 do not. Let's see what they've got to say about Ez's team. So, Jock Horror Ez has gone for a 4-2-3-1, as standard. As it seems we all do these days. The standard 5 at the back. He's gone with Yates, Anderson, and Morgan Gibbs-White as the midfield. He's then gone with Jota on the right-hand side, Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left, and Chris Wood up front. So, Ez, you've dropped Dominguez here for Anderson, technically. Talk us through your thinking here, and let's see what the chat says about yours.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it, but I go along with what Ant says. I wouldn't be looking to play two exclusively defensive midfielders. I know Dominguez has got a lot more about his game than that, but I wouldn't be playing 2 defensive style midfielders. And I think just for this game, like I've alluded to a few times, I think it's too much of a championship style game. And I think a championship style game where you need a bit more physical presence, I think that's what Yates has over Dominguez. That's the only thing I think he has over Dominguez, but I think he does have it. And obviously you've got the physicality of Anderson, who's a big, strong, tall lad, and does get himself about a bit as well. So he can do both roles. So for me, that solidifies the midfield. That back 5, we've already mentioned, does not need tinkering with at all for this game, certainly. And the only one that I think most of our fan base are looking at changing out is Elanga for Jota. So that's what I've done. I've gone with a tried and tested front 4 in a way, but Jota has been the change for me, and I think he deserves this chance. And I think not only does he offer more energy, but also those cross-field balls or these long balls that Miguel is playing, his leap is unbelievable. How he gets up in the air and he does get flick-ons, and I think that's an extra string to the bow that Elanga just doesn't provide us. So for me, I think from our chat, I think I'm going to be the most popular team there. I can't see anything wrong with that team. So if there is, guys, chip in and tell me what you'd change, because I think that's...
Well, mate, before you start puffing that chest out, you're on the least percentage as the poll stands.
Yes, of course I am, because I've got Laurie in the chat, haven't I? So she's...
that's what. Just before I bring you guys in, just a quick reminder, we're on 90 likes. And nearly 400 watching across the platforms. Please don't forget, it's over 100 likes. 10 more of you need to hit that like button. Just going to quickly catch up with a couple of members and super chats. Will the legend, thank you again for my birthday presents right here online. Thank you for the 27 months, buddy. Good to see you the other night. And Jess with another £2. She says, near passed out as put in wood, she says. Pricey went for Wood over Taiwo, and you have been singing his praises, Taiwo, and you defended him last week, and you've gone and dropped him for Wood. Critical, well pointed out, Jess.
I think, I think Rob kind of mentioned it. We might only get 1 or 2 chances in the game, and I think Wood in this form, if they come in, if we do get the crosses in and get the right balls in, I think Wood can just pop. He only needs 1 chance, really. So I think, if we were going on percentage of chances and getting them converted, I'll go with Chris Wood in this game, no doubt about it. I would have gone with Chris Wood in the last game if he wasn't jet lagged, but he was.
The only difference between your team and mine is I put Dominguez in for Yates, and that's just a personal choice. I said at the time, I wouldn't be, if I got that team sheet on Saturday, I wouldn't say, oh no, we've shot it. I'd be quite happy with that team. But
do you go with my argument and about the physicality of Yates over Dominguez and the type?
Not particularly, because I think that Dominguez is a tough little
I agree. But he's not physically. I wouldn't want to meet him in the dark alley, but
I've seen Dominguez get stuck in really well. I think Yates is a little bit. I think Yates is far more clumsy than Dominguez is. I think he's quite clumsy. Yates. But again, I'm not dissing the guy. If he's in, I'm fine. But that's my one personal change I would make. Apart from that, it's a good team.
Because that's the one difference to your team, mate. So that makes sense.
Apart from that, it's a good team.
well, Rob, this is quite different to yours. What are you picking out or liking or disliking on this?
We've done the goalkeeper to death, so I won't cover that again. In terms of the midfield, I think these two have basically made assumptions that more optimistic assumptions about Anderson and Gibbs-White being fully fit. If that's the case, I would be happy to go with those 3, as I've just said. But I'm working on the basis that neither of them was even on the bench for the Arsenal game. We've got this game on Saturday, and then within the space of 7 days, we've got away at Man City and away at Man United. I do not want Gibbs, White, or Anderson unavailable for those games. Those games require both of them on full fitness. So if it's a gamble to start both for this, just start with one and go with Yates and Dominguez, and then tag one in on 60 minutes.
I think
that's underestimating Ipswich, though, isn't it? That's underestimating Ipswich. That's like, we beat Liverpool away and lost to Fulham at home.
Right, we start with this, and then Gibbs White limps off after 30 minutes, and then we've got to play.
You're assuming that's going to happen. Why? Why are you assuming that's going to happen?
Well,
this is a guy who hadn't been injured in 3 seasons, and he's had a couple of injuries recently.
I know you don't like talking about Arsenal, but Odegaard came back after 3 months out, and look at the fucking player he is. Right. And he played again and again. He played on Saturday, and he played again on Tuesday.
Right.
And he ran the game. He ran the shop.
I don't mean to sound like Donald Rumsfeld, but there are known unknowns, and at the moment, we do not know.
Crap. Yeah,
we do not know if those 2 guys are fit. So this is a pointless discussion, really.
We'll find out on Saturday when the team sheet
grey area, right? Now,
you imposed that, Rob.
Rob, let me ask you a question. Is Aina going to be fit on Saturday? You've put him in your team.
Look, he started against Arsenal, so that inclines me to think.
All right, I'll pick another player. That's okay. Let's pick Murillo. Are you putting him in your side?
Where's this going?
No. He's going to be fit. He could break his leg tomorrow in training.
That's bollocks. Stop.
It's not. I'm sorry.
It's Chris Wood over his jet lag.
Now we're getting pedantic. Now it's turning into goal. Right, it's getting pedantic.
Right, you're right.
Right, so I've made my comments about Hudson-Odoi. Once again, I think that give him a rest, bring him on after 60 minutes. He's going to be a key player in the two Manchester games. I think if you just play this and you don't think about what's coming after it, I think that is a mistake. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I think we should all put whatever denomination you are. If you know denomination at all, you should all put your hands up to the heavens and say, "Thank God, Rob's not our manager."
Right, can we have a poll between the three teams, please?
Yeah, that's coming up. That's coming up next.
He seems to be really confident. I don't know where he's getting this confidence from. Come on, guys.
Who has the better team? Rob, Ez, or Ant?
Don't embarrass me.
All rubbish.
Just remember, it's Jota, not Sosa for
mine. No.
You gotta go. Okay, so that's the three teams there.
Oh, rubbish.
Let's see who votes for it. Right. One thing I want to bring up, and I thought Jonathan's brought up a really good comment, which I want to discuss in just a second. But a massive shout out to Noah with the 199. He says, "Hi guys. For some reason I'm nervous for Saturday."
How's Rob
Noah,
don't be nervous, Noah. Don't be nervous. I'll make sure
nervous.
I'll make sure Ez doesn't try to grab you again. Don't be nervous.
Again.
But guys, this is what I want to discuss. Jonathan says, "Are we wedded to a 4-2-3-1?" And this is a question that's been plaguing me this last week because, as you guys know, I've been moaning a lot about the lack of control we've had in midfield in recent games. Does a formation change, or should a formation change come into play? Maybe go 4-3-3, bring something up like that.
Sorry, Ez, we've split the vote, mate. Me and you, because our teams are the same. Basically, we've split the vote.
Oh, are you in the code? Let me go on YouTube.
I haven't heard a word of what I've just said.
No.
Right? All he's seen is that Rob is way out in the lead.
Really?
Yeah. 27 and 24%. We have literally split the vote. And it's like
44% for Rob.
That's how the Lib Dems got into power a few years ago. People couldn't decide against Conservatives and Labour, and Lib Dems slipped in.
Can you listen to the quote? Listen to the absolute vote here. Oh, we've split the vote. Look, this isn't the French presidential election.
I can't believe this is happening.
Tactical voting, mate. I'm telling you.
It just shows it doesn't necessarily pay to have the loudest voice, does it? And the biggest.
It's not that, Rob. It's I gave you my not endurance? What's the word? When they back a nominee. What's the word?
Oh,
casting vote.
No,
I've lost the word.
Endorsement.
I gave you the endorsement. That's what swung it. Good. I like you, chat. You're good. Stop the count. Says Roberto. I love how many trolling counts you've got in here.
Isn't it?
I just can't
the M&S jumper and everything.
I'm pretty sure it's all one guy, but anyway, he's welcome.
I believe you, Laurie.
Right. So, did you actually hear the question? Are you so dumbfounded by the chat's poll
I'll
there?
answer it.
You heard the question.
I think for this game, stick with the 4-2-3-1, but absolutely for the two games after it, I'm perfectly comfortable starting with Morato, starting with the three central defenders. What I didn't like about the Arsenal game is obviously with them having the three up front, they were getting almost in the gaps between, when you've got a back four and someone plays a back three, it's kind of pre-programmed to find the gaps, isn't it? So, as the opponent dictates, but certainly for those two away games, I would quite like to see Morato starting in the sort of 3-4-3 thing we've been doing with the actual wing backs. I'd like to see Moreno and potentially Nico deployed as wing backs. So for this game, 4-2-3-1. For the others, definitely change it a bit. We should not have played the 4-2-3-1 against Arsenal. It was too lightweight and we got battered.
Okay. Ez, would you change?
Not for this game, but we got to have more than one formation. And 4-3-3, I think, has got to be the most popular one. The problem is we got one of the few teams who play number 10, and we're building a team around. It started with Cooper. Cooper did it when MG Dub came in, and we've kind of stuck with it. It's having that number 10 player. Now, Morgan's more than capable and smart enough to be adaptive, to be a number 8. And you could turn his position around a little bit. But we've got to have more than one option. So 4-3-3 is the one that the alternative that I'd be looking at. But 3-4-3 in certain games as well, because we've got to have more than one option. And I think where we have been caught out by teams, even Fulham game, for example, was because they knew exactly how we were going to line up. And we need to be a bit more street smart. Huh?
We didn't. No, it was a totally different lineup against Fulham.
I mean, in terms of our formation, not the players in general, but the way we set up in terms of our formation, it is a little bit too predictable. So it's caught a few teams out early on this season. But yeah, you got to have more than one option. And I think 4-3-3 for me has got to be the alternative. But 3-4-3 is another option because you've got quality centre backs. We've got quality on the bench that's not even getting a sniff. And Morato's key to that. He still hasn't conceded a goal. You know. Would you be tempted to start him?
One thing worth mentioning, though, is if we ever have a situation again where Anderson and Gibbs-White are both injured, I think that Ward-Prowse... I don't think we have another 10. So basically, if we have a situation where neither of those is available, I would not try to shoehorn somebody into that number 10 role and stick blindly with the 4-2-3-1.
Jota could do it.
Well... no, but we don't like experimentation, do we?
True.
Well, True. First of all, if I can just remind anybody that's turning up that we have a charity for to help disadvantaged children have a nice Christmas, and if you care to donate, then the link is pinned at the top of the chat, and that'd be very much appreciated, I'm sure, by all the little ones this Christmas. You know me and formations. I don't particularly.
Oh God, here we go
crazy about formations because football's not played like that. Once they get on the pitch, formations change all the time. When you're attacking, you have a different formation to when you're defending. It's a little bit, it doesn't really matter that much. As far as I'm concerned, the formations that we've put out for the likes of Ipswich at home is absolutely fine. If we're playing the likes of the bigger teams, I will say, or away from home, then I've told you mine. When you're defending, you're 5-4-1. When you're defending, that's it. And then when you're attacking, that's when the formation changes. So I don't like to stick to this rigid. Should we play this or should we play that? Because it changes on the state of the game, doesn't it? So that's all I'll say on that.
Okay. Just before we start to wrap up, just a couple of massive thanks yous to Nikki with the 16 months. Thank you so much, Nikki. Absolute legend, man. Got some of the stuff he was saying at the birthday bash.
Yeah.
It remains at the birthday bash. And the legend, Nick, is actually Logan. He says, evening, guys. It's Logan here with the 18 months. And I believe you two got the pleasure of meeting Logan Senior.
I did indeed. Look how hot I'm
at the game. Huh?
Can we get that off the screen, please?
No, leave it on the screen. I'm looking hot, bro.
Yeah, look at that. Logan's granddad there, looking fantastic with two idiots.
Yeah, that was Chris and his partner Christina as well, who came and said hello and took a photo with us. So yeah, bless you guys. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, chat, get your predictions in. I'm going to close the poll. Rob has officially won with 42% of the vote.
No, he hasn't.
And was in
let's be magnanimous, says. We know it's rigged.
No.
No.
By the way, it wasn't my team, it was Crypto's team. I nicked it off a chat.
Oh, so he got off Chat GPT, did he?
It looks like I've come behind with a late spurt.
You haven't. That's come second with 27%. And Ez 19%.
Yeah, Crypto.
Rubbish.
Thank you, voters, and good night. Thank you, chat.
Yeah. Right. Chat, get your score predictions in. Will straight in there with the 3-0. I like that scoreline. It reminds me of Survival Day. Let's kick it off with Ant. What are you saying? How do you see this one go?
It's going to be either 2-0 or 2-1. Are we going to let a goal in? No.
Oh, are you sure?
2-0.
You sure?
2-0.
It's definitely one of those two, though. Yeah, no other permutation can happen.
Yeah, definitely one of those two. I just couldn't quite see whether they, but no, I don't think they're going to score against our defense. So 2-0, we'll go.
2-0. Okay. Ez, what are you saying?
No, I can't copy him, can I? That's what I would have
copied his team.
If that's what you think, that's what you think, mate.
No, I copied Crypto's team.
Yeah, you don't want to split the vote on the score lines as well, do you?
Yeah, okay, now well, 2-0 is what I'm hoping for. A comfortable win, to be honest, and hopefully we'll get the goals at right times and just kill the game. So an early goal, and then just as they're getting into a game, we get the second goal and just kill them off. So that's how I'd like the game to go. But football never goes like that. So yeah, comfortable, I hope, but I'm not convinced.
Sebastian says first vote you've ever won, Rob. Bless you.
Technically not correct. Carry on.
But go on, Rob. What you said?
1-0, Chris Wood header.
So Anne's gone from only 2 possible scorelines to you saying not only the scoreline but the goal scorer as well, and the way he's going to score. Wow. One day you will be right, mate. One day you will be right. The chat, most of you seem to be going for a Forest win here, which is good to see. I wish I shared your.
You're always negative, aren't you, man? You're so always.
Don't worry, as you thought the West Ham were going to beat us. Always
this is good. I thought we'd be Arsenal, and we didn't. So take from that what you want. Take from that what you want. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the forum, which I'd say 80% went smooth-ishly, so not too bad.
Grumpy old forum.
Wait, are you giving us a rating now?
Huh?
You giving us a rating, are you?
Yeah, rate their performances on the forum out of 10 if you're watching
rate
later
me
or
and
in the comments.
Me and Ant came off the bench. Rate our performance.
Out of 10, who was the best forumee out of those? Let us know in the chat and in the comments. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Ant was about to say something.
I was just going to say, because normally I spend 2 or 3 days preparing for my appearances on Gore, so I didn't have the chance to prepare tonight, Neither
of us did, mate. We got called in at the last minute.
No, it's not just that. And prepares for Gore the day after a game, 2 to 3 days before the game has happened. That's interesting. on that note,
guys, we will be down at the fan zone, opposite the fan zone. For the Ipswich games, to do come and say hello if you haven't been down before, and if you have been down before, come and say hello again and get a selfie or whatever. There might be a few other people down there as well, so you might meet a few new names. Yeah, obviously. There's my.
What about me, Jeff?
Yeah, Jolly, Ollie's giving you a 10.
Ollie's in for you.
Ollie's your Jess, mate. Right, so tomorrow for the members, if you're a member, you can go and watch the match preview with the legend Benjamin Bloom. That's already out for you guys. That'll be out for the free seats, so to speak, tomorrow morning. And then we will have a transfer video tomorrow afternoon, and then the watch along on Saturday. So plenty to come. Let's see how this weekend pans out. All we can agree on is we definitely need a win. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.